Hickok 45, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from the beautiful hills of Middle Tennessee. Yes, Tennessee, the home of so many famous people. You wouldn't believe it. I'm not even going to list them today. I always get a lot of recommendations for that. And we're over here in the woods. Sorry, no music. Don't have the technical skills to plug it in, really. And you know, you don't need music. Although I missed the song, I might just sing it to you. How's it go? Shooting down in the woods and wouldn't leave here even if he could, and all that kind of stuff. Even if he could, I'm not sure why we wrote that line. I could leave any time if I wanted to. Wouldn't leave here even if you made me. That should have been the line again. It didn't rhyme with something. When Steve Lee and all of us sitting around the table put that stupid song together. Actually, it's pretty funny. Anyway, good to see you all. Glad you're here. And, you know, first of all, let me thank everybody for tuning in, watching. We're here at over on the Gun Club range. You know, one of the things we pointed out in the new range video we recently posted was that it's shady over here, you know, most of the day. And so I have discovered a lot of benefits of this, more so than I ever expected. Just not for videos exclusively. That was the original thinking. And, you know, especially you Gun Club members, you know, with your contributions, you know, we wanted to put that money into the range and targets and things like that. But another benefit is, you know, it's kind of the middle of the day right now. And it's like being in the middle of the desert over on the other range. I took a lot of trees out that were getting too big, threatening the place and all that. The house is one reason for that. And I didn't even think about that so much because we do the videos mostly later afternoon anyway. But when I'm just out wanting to come out and shoot at noon or 1 or 11 in the morning or something, you know, it's just not as nice. So now I've got a place to do that. I recently got a four-wheeler, side-by-side as they call it, and so I just put my stuff in it and come over here. And so, you know, you're never too old to learn. You know, figure out something new. Like me, I've had this property for 32 years, and just now figuring out, you know, I always thought I really don't need a four-wheeler. You know, one of the little trucks, the mule's what I got. I don't need a hot rod four-wheeler because I had a tractor and pickup trucks and stuff. But you know, you don't know what you don't know. The thing is, it's so handy. So I throw stuff in the back, come over here, and here I am. So that's what I was doing. I have the FN 509 Tactical we're going to do a video with, and haven't fired it yet. So I thought I would get that out and fire it because we are going to do a video this week and shoot some with it. And I'll go over here and do it. Instead of standing in the sun. And I brought another favorite revolver. Thought I'd do a little plinking with my old Model 65. You've seen that before. You know, I like that a lot. So anyway, that's why I'm over here. And I thought, well, you know, I haven't spread any idiocy. I haven't demonstrated my my low IQ recently in shooting the breeze. And, you know, that's when you do it the best, when you're just rambling, no script. Not that we ever have a script, but that's when you demonstrate your mental skills, if you have any, when it's all ad lib. Well, actually, we do that in every video, I guess. But so I'm not demonstrating anything new. So anyway, again, thanks for tuning in. You guys or gals are the most loyal of our viewers and listeners, no doubt about it. If you're watching this, in addition to being sick, as I pointed out many times, right? One thing I wanted to, before I don't want to just thank you, I want to thank everybody too while I'm thanking people. Because I forget all the folks that support us, you know, whether it's Buds or SDI, Federal, the NRA, anybody who contributes to the cause here. We just don't thank it often enough, there's no doubt about it, even though we do it in videos generally, if it's at the shooting table. But just want to thank folks. Even Ashland City Armory, not too far from me, they check the guns in, you know, now. They help. All the gun shops locally have helped us in one way or another. Tennessee Gun Country up in Clarksville, Guns and Leather, Nashville Armory helped us a couple of times. I think we did a meet and greet there, even in Royal Range. You see some videos pop up occasionally where they have brought some interesting firearm out for us, and they're going to do that again. We haven't done that in about a year, I guess, so we're going to be doing that. In fact, they're coming out later this week. They're going to bring a little muffler for this thing, and we're going to have that for the video. It'll be kind of fun. So, yeah, Royal Range USA, right there on Interstate 40. If you're coming through Nashville, check them out. An incredible shooting range complex, no doubt about that. So, but here I go talking about it. I found some very interesting guns out of Franklin Gun Shop. I purchased, oh lordy, Nashville Gun Shop. Yeah, they felt us. Who else? See, that's why I never do that. I leave out people. Sorry about that. But anyway, locally we have a lot of people to thank as well. Who else should I thank? Well, you all, the subscribers, watchers, viewers. You know, speaking of that, I am still seeing daily comments where people will message me on Facebook about how they were unsubscribed. You know, I'm not your typical conspiracy theorist. A lot of those on the internet. I'm almost too much the other way, maybe too trusting. But I don't know. A lot of people seem to get unsubscribed, and with what's going on, you know, social media, I don't know, you might want to check, just make sure you're subscribed. I mean, I usually answer them the same way. If I answer, well, we post 2 or 3 videos every week, just like clockwork, even on the same days almost. It's usually on a Friday, a Sunday, and a Wednesday or a Tuesday night, you know, sometime midweek, and then, you know, later in the week, Friday, and then on Sunday usually. I mean, it's almost like clockwork. So I see too many people also leaving comments that, I didn't know you were still doing videos. I thought you were knocked off, because they weren't getting notifications, you know, and all that kind of thing. Obviously, they're not the most loyal viewers, or, you know, they wouldn't pop in 3 months later. Oh, you're still doing videos, huh? You know, that kind of thing. You would be religiously sitting at your computer waiting for that next video, right? Like you all did. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that. Double check it. I don't know if all of us on, maybe it's just gun videos. I don't know about that one. We might need to keep an eye on that, you know, because that's another way to control firearms exposure, isn't it, on the internet. You know, if no matter who's posting videos, if we don't know about it, we're not notified. Yes, and it wouldn't affect you loyal viewers as much as it would, say, the average viewer, the casual viewer that popped in on a couple of videos. Hey, this guy's pretty cool. You imagine, you might thinking that. Or I kind of like, he's not cool. He tries not to be cool, but I kind of like the videos. I think I'll subscribe. And it kind of forgets about it, and then they're never reminded again. You know, so I don't, you know. So anyway, we might be missing out some folks there. They just get unsubscribed. I don't know. I'm not looking for conspiracies, but just something to mention there. Yeah, let me load a magazine while I'm yakking at you, because I'm going to take a couple of shots. So anyway, some of you said, yeah, it's cool. Do the shooting the breeze at the shooting table. So I'll do that occasionally. And not a shooting video, but, you know, while I'm out here, I'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone. How's that? 1 bullet. I'll load up this magazine. This gun has never been fired. Maybe you'll see it blow up. Maybe it's faulty metallurgy. This is the one FN 509 that has faulty metallurgy, and it'll blow up, and you'll see me get killed right here. You'll be rid of me. So all that business about getting unsubscribed won't matter, right? But yeah, it will. John will carry on. Okay, it better. Okay. So anyway, speaking of that, if I did get hit by a truck tomorrow, you tell John he'd better post whatever videos we've done that are in the can. All right. So you know, we're not going to destroy videos just because I'm gone or something. You know, I mean, I will be gone someday. So will you, if you didn't know that. But anyway, hey, that's a big mag. They furnish 2 or supply 2. What are they? 24 round magazines. Wow. With this firearm. See why? Because it's tactical. Yeah. That's pretty tactical. So anyway, what was I going to talk about while I'm doing this? I saw some of you in Tallahassee at the big gun rights rally down there. That was pretty cool. A lot of people showed up, and I said a few feeble words, and I enjoyed being down there with you all and you know, taking part in the event. that one was supposed to have even a bigger crowd. It had a nice crowd. It was supposed to be bigger. I think they were expecting even 2 or 3 times that much or more. And I know a lot of people put a lot of work into that. Really that are very active in gun rights in Florida, and I think they were probably surprised they didn't have a better turnout, even though they had a good turnout. I've about decided it's just really hard to get gun people out, at these things. It really is. That's not saying that we don't need to have them. I've even changed my view on that a little bit. I think, I've talked about wanting to have big national Second Amendment rallies and not have so many little ones maybe, but I don't know. It may be just better to have them locally because the states are where they're really attacking anyway. And it's kind of the nature of gun owners, I think. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if they think that they sit watching TV and see all these other crazies protesting and doing, tearing up buildings and all this kind of stuff. Maybe, you tell me, you think that's part of it? Maybe they're afraid they're going to be associated with that sort of activity, or it's going to, or it's more animated, or now I won't say potential for violence, or they're just expecting it to be crazier than it is or something. When really it's just a gathering of a bunch of us, and maybe some holding signs and listening to people speak and just talking about guns and stuff and gun rights. I don't know what it is exactly, because there's so many gun owners that just don't come to them, and it's not, you can't use the excuse that we're working on Saturdays. Yeah, that happens sometimes, but not in an area where there would be literally 10,000 people, probably gun owners who actually shoot on a fairly regular basis within 20 or 30 miles, and who are not working on Saturday and don't have a family obligation and could drive in and hang out for a couple hours and go home. There's just way too many people who could do it. So I'm not sure what it is, but there's some dynamic about that is probably not going to change. Okay, so anyway, that's just a fact. If you're putting on a rally, you're going to have to work your butt off, to get even a couple hundred people there. It's just the way it is, I think. So, okay, what else here? Well, you're going to help me witness this? All right. Take a couple shots here. I'm not going anywhere. Have to figure out where to hold the thing. It's set up for a rear optic of some sort, and then also it's got a high front sight because it's set up for suppressor and rear sight, all that kind. It's very tactical. Okay, so let me take a couple more careful shots here. Uh-oh, malfunction. One malfunction. Okay, it shoots about maybe a hair low to where I was holding it, so I think I was going under some of those before. But we've got, let me take a couple more. Okay, I was holding on top of the gong and hit it. And from here, this gong is 95 yards from here, so it's further than the other one. So I need to move up to that tree to get an 80-yard gong for the same. But okay, I'll figure that one out. Pretty good. Now I didn't do anything to it. I normally lube them up some, but I'll just bring it over here in the case. Took it out of the safe and brought it over. Thought I'd take a couple shots. And I'll take a few more before I quit. It's interesting. One of the things I was going to try and talk about something useful in these things a little bit. It was, I have a friend whose wife is getting more interested in firearms all of a sudden. And I guess middle-aged. I don't know what age she is. I'll get in trouble here. But got a carry permit and and even taken a gosh, what was it? I don't know. It's just taking a course or two in beyond the carry permit course locally, and is picking out guns, trying to get the right gun, this sort of thing. Has gone through 2 or 3 different firearms, and it's just funny. I forget, because there's so many people going through that, and it's so hard to pick out the right firearm, isn't it? Most of you have gone through that if you live in this country and if you have a carry permit and that sort of thing. But it's the same deal even on your favorite range gun or home defense firearm and all that. It's just not quite as critical a problem, challenge, as it is for picking out a carry gun, though, is it? Because you got all these concerns. How are you going to carry it, the size of it, the weight of it, the capacity of it, just everything. How you're going to be dressed, and so many factors. And it changes as you get into it, as I've talked about before. If you're at that point yourself, and really we all are still, it's going to change. Whatever firearm you went and bought, you think that's it, man, I'm set for the next 10 years. You're probably not. You will probably find something you like better within a year, depending on how much you get out and how much you shoot, and if you try your buddy's firearm or girlfriend's firearm at the range or whatever, and you decide you shoot that better or something. And as I've said before too, what compounds this problem issue is I might decide this is perfect for me today. I'm going to carry it because I dress such that I can carry a big gun or something, and I shoot it pretty well, whatever. And I don't shoot little guns very well. Okay, that's where I am. Well, I enjoy shooting this thing. I shoot it a fair amount. I even shoot my buddy's small. He's got a Glock 23 or something, and I shoot it some, or 26, and I get to where I can shoot everything better. And gradually what happens? This gun's, I've noticed it getting heavier. I've noticed it getting bigger on my belt, And boy, I sure shoot Ralph's Glock 26 awfully well. Now, I didn't before. I might just want one of those, So you switch to a mid-sized gun, a smaller firearm, and then you get to be a pretty good shot a couple years from now. And you kind of decide, I haven't been in many shootouts lately. I might just not be as averse to a 7-shot or a 6-shot, Glock 43 or something, or even a 380. So it will change with you. Or you might go the other way. You might decide you go from a small to a bigger gun. I don't know, but it's a process. Here's the best example. Okay, I can give you for this. I'm not blowing smoke because so many of you have been through it. I really like small guns, as you know, that shoot well. I just like that. I'm sure I don't go too long here. Yeah, like I always do. Because I'm not expecting trouble, but I do care. I have carried since the 80s. So I like a small gun. Well, think about it. A small gun that we can shoot well is kind of the ultimate. Now, capacity is another factor over there. You have to decide what you think about capacity and caliber. But if you have a small gun that's pretty easy to carry, and you shoot it well at short distance and even moderate distances out there, that's an attractive gun, isn't it? So anyway, those are the kinds of firearms that I'm always attracted to. As you know, this is one of them in terms of revolver. It's a K-frame, but it's 3 inches and bobbed hammer. And as far as a good size heavy revolver, you could carry that. There's lots of smaller ones now, better. But okay, as an example, I'm no youngster, and I've been in this firearms business for a good while. It's not a business, but as a hobby for a long time, carrying and everything. All right, you would think I'd have figured it out at my age, right? Well, I own, what do I own? I own, as far as handy little guns, guns that I thought were the ultimate at the time, maybe, or a great choice, and carried them for a good while, and may still be carrying them next time you see me. All right, I've got in my safe, ready to pop, in a pocket holster for them and everything, a PM9. Ooh, nice gun, huh? I've had the P380, of course. John has it now. The LC9. Hey, Ruger. LCP. Love that. I've got 2 or 3 of those. Great gun. Carry it. I've got a Glock 42 380. I've got Glock 43. Okay. I got 642 Smith & Wesson. And then whatever the number is, the same gun in an all steel frame. I forget the number on it. And then and there's probably 5 other I'm not even thinking of that are, well, I've got the little a 44 Special Bulldog, from Charter Arms. Okay, got 2 of those. I've got some nice little, Glock 26, duh, get that. I've got a Glock, M&P 40, the 2.0. I've got lots of mid-size Glock 19s. I've got lots of nice size VP9, guns like that. I've got all those firearms I could be carrying, but if you had just come upon me yesterday or a week ago or 3 weeks ago or today and said, what do you got in your pocket? Well, here's what I've got in my pocket. Yep, with my carry ammo, that's it, a little 642. All right, so I go back and forth, and 1 month or week or year, I'll decide, no matter what's out there, no matter how well Glock makes a small pocket gun, or Smith & Wesson, or SIG, or whoever else, that thing is just hard to beat, So, I go through the same thing, we all do. So if you're new to firearms, don't get discouraged, and don't think you're weird, or that you're just hard to deal with, or that you think you're frustrating the gun shop owners more than you should by trying different guns, or I mean, it's just the way it is. We're all looking for that perfect small gun because we're demanding a lot of it. I want to be able to produce this thing fairly quickly if I need to, and be able to hit with it. Have good trigger, reliable, big enough round. And then now capacity is the biggest argument, I think. Now there's lots of little good guns. Capacity, you got to come to terms with that. Are you going to need capacity? A lot of capacity. And it kind of depends on, now for civilian carry, so you can argue that both ways. You walk up on a terrorist attack encounter, you might wish you had your Glock 19 or something and 5 extra magazines, right? By and large, though, you may not even need ammo. You just need a gun to produce, to keep yourself alive or safe. There's all these different levels, right? First of all, be smart. Don't put yourself in situations. Then if someone knows you have a firearm because you are reaching and you're, they know you have a firearm, that's another level. Surely they're not going to continue bothering you. Okay, you don't want to brandish it, not necessarily, of course. You could get in trouble for that. And then if you actually have to pull it out to convince somebody, that's pretty serious stuff. How often is that going to happen to you? If you're someone who minds your own business, you don't go looking for trouble, And then if you actually have to fire that thing into somebody, that's pretty extreme. Right? like an understatement. So who is it that's going to know you've got a gun, and that once you pull it, you've proved it the second level or third, and then you actually fire at them, hopefully hit them, because you didn't fire it unless they were coming at you to kill you, threaten you, bodily harm and all that. Who is going to keep coming at you? Where did you get these enemies? What is it that you have that's that serious, that they will absorb bullets and keep coming at you? What the heck have you done to make somebody that mad? Okay, yes, I mean, that's just another way to think about it when you think of capacity. All right. Anyway, I got a little crazy there off the track maybe, but think about all those things, and we all go through it. We all go through it. The main thing is have a gun. Even Jeff Cooper, he made fun of mouse guns all the time, but first rule of a gunfight, not that you want to be in a gunfight, is have a gun. Okay. All right. Enough on that, but I just wanted to get into something that might be of some use to us here about firearms and selection, because that battle never ends, it seems like, or that quest, it never ends. I should load my 357. I came over here to shoot it. Of course, I came over here to yak at you all too. Let's see. We just got to. And what kind of guns we've been. I didn't bring. Well, I shipped a bunch back actually. We've had yesterday. We've had. Wow, we've had some interesting firearms. Just posted the Mossberg 930 SPX, and interesting firearm. We did 4 videos with that. Okay, did some comparisons. I think we did maybe a slugfest and some things while we had it. So that's a pretty neat firearm. Whoever wins that at the e-gunner auction from Buds, keep an eye out. You'll see your gun in 3 more videos. It'll trickle out through the weeks or months. There's a bug on the screen. Don't let it bite you. Don't y'all let that bug bite you. I don't want you to get the flea bit. We had, of course, the Shadow you'll be seeing for long. What else we had? The Colt M45, A1, essentially the Marine pistol. That's pretty neat, 1911. I enjoyed shooting that thing. We did 1 or 2 videos with that. What else did I just ship? Oh yeah, oh man, how could I forget? A couple of nice single actions. I got a Cimarron 7.5 inch, and we also had that new standard manufacturing single action Army. They call it a single action, but I mean it's a single action Army. It's a clone. It's like a Colt, and it is like a Colt. I was curious about that. Glad to get one in and try it out and look at it, and John and I were incredibly impressed with that. If you're somebody who has been looking for that or thinking about it, they have done a great job. And I'm not easy to please, as you know, when it comes to small guns or single action Army or clones, whatever. Man, that thing is beautiful. And its price is like a Colt too, like $1,800, $2,000, So it'd just be a matter of how important it is for you to have Colt on the name, on the gun, I guess. Long term, it'd probably be a better investment, a Colt, if you could get a hold of one. I'm not sure they're making them. But in terms of quality, I don't think there's any difference. I think you have some of the same people making them, in fact. But beautiful, beautiful gun. I think of U.S. Firearms and how collectible those things are. People pay a premium for those on Gunbroker. And it was a little bit similar. It wasn't a Colt, but I think made by some of the same people, same experience, and made as well or better. So you got that going on. I was telling John, I think we may be in a period here, not that there's going to be 15 different companies spring up making single action, Colt clones or anything in this country, but we might be in a similar place than 1911 was back when I was getting into shooting. At that time, it was Colt or nothing really. And in Springfield, I remember Springfield. And then Springfield starting to develop a good reputation, and people would, it was weird, I know maybe in the 80s you'd hear people say, well, I'm going to build a race gun or a competition gun, and I'm going to get a Springfield instead of a Colt. I said, really? Because they were going to replace a lot of parts anyway, but still Springfield developed a pretty good reputation early on, and a lot of people were buying them. And so it didn't put a tarnish on Colt necessarily. They were kind of expensive, but there were other alternatives, and other people were making frames, like Caspian and different people. And today, when you walk in, if you were going today, if you were asking me what's the best 1911 to buy, I wouldn't know what to tell you for one thing, but and you would not be bothered if I didn't say Colt. You might be surprised if I said Colt, wouldn't you? There's so many good companies, Smith & Wesson, people who didn't even make them 10 years ago or 15 or 20 years ago. So I don't know. I hope that's the case. I hope in 20 years, I may not be here, but I hope in 20 years there are like 20 different companies making guns like a Colt single action Army, just like it. Same quality in this country. It'd be nice, wouldn't it? So anyway, a little speech on that. Went into speechifying. But anyway, those are some of the guns we've been shooting. The Cimarron was fine too. Same gun. We did a little comparison and everything. Had fun with all that. And we probably got others I'm not thinking about. So, and we always like to bring out the classics and some of my favorites, maybe some of yours. So anyway, what else? Let me take 6 shots and I'll get back to you. Okay? I just want to shoot this thing. I haven't shot it for a while. Oh, let's see. Let me run up here. Oh, nice pistol. Those are pretty hot rounds too. Those were, you know, the factory Federal. So nice gun, boy. I actually put that in the holster and carried that from time to time, especially in the winter, you know. So I don't know. And again, I'm not really. Well, if I am biased, it's my own bias. It's not anybody else's bias. I do like certain things. I'm honest about that with you. And see another bug crawling on your face there. Yeah, some of you must have been eating honey or something there. They're just guns I like, and I like. I don't have anything against polymer pistols, as you know, but I still like the old classic revolvers, not just to shoot, but to carry. You know, so you know that's the thing. I'm not. I don't have any agenda, you know, with these firearms, and I admit my confusion, you know, just like going through all the guns I have and I've gone through, and I go through the same rotation as some of you do. It is good, as I've advised you, not to change out your carry gun every day, though, you know. Now, if it's the same manual of arms, you know, it's a little bit different. I have shot guns like this so long, pistols, you know, that you just pull and shoot. If I have a Glock, it's going to be pull and shoot, or whatever I have in my pocket or on my belt, it's going to be pull and shoot. There's not going to be a safety probably or anything like that, a thumb safety on it. So it's kind of the same manual of arms. You want to stick with that, but it's best not to switch around a lot. Get something you like, practice with it, stick with it. So, anyway, what was it? I was just watching the news. That's something I was going to talk about briefly. I'll look in the mag here. Is anybody else where I am? I am about fed up with news. You know, John gets after me for watching too much news. I don't really watch a lot of news. It's just when I'm working or answering mail, that kind of thing. I'll have news on lots of times, or a Western or something like that. And I see it for what it is. I see the folly. I know they've got 24 hours to fill, you know, and everything. Just like me right now, I've got 30 or 40 minutes to talk, and so I'm going to talk about something stupid, whether it's important or not, right? Yeah. So they've got 24 hours, though, and if there's nothing going on, particularly newsworthy, you know, there you go. And so they decide what is newsworthy. But I'm not going to go on for 20 minutes on that. I've gotten to the point, though, where, like a lot of people already are, I have tried over the years not to get fed up. You know, whatever the big news items of the day are, it just runs constantly. It repeats itself, of course. And they drive it into the ground, whatever it is. And I change channels. I try not to get jaded by that, because I want to know what's going on. Because occasionally there's a good interview and or a discussion about something, and you learn a lot, believe it or not, don't you? Occasionally, that's the key word. And that's kind of what lures me, at least, into watching the news. I'm talking cable news or network, either one, but well, I don't know about on a network, but on cable news, because they have all day, you will occasionally get a really interesting interview or a debate between people. You know, Fox always likes this thing of both sides or balanced view and all that, and actually sometimes they are, you know, and I guess even CNN is sometimes. But occasionally there'll be an interview or there'll be a discussion, and you'll have 3 or 4 people. Sometimes it gets into hollering at each other, and that's, you know, annoying, right? But there'll be a very good discussion between people who have very intelligent, well thought out opinions on either side. You know, they've Rand Paul discussing or with somebody else or whatever it is, and well, you'll just, you know, in about 5 minutes, you'll pick up some perspective you just didn't have before, or some facts that kind of make you change your mind a little bit about something, maybe, you know. But the problem is that doesn't happen very often, and it lures you in, doesn't it? It lures me in because I keep expecting that, but I don't get it. You get the same old stupid stuff over and over and over. You know, going at whatever the outrage is about the other channel, something they've done on the other channel, and that channel's battling this channel, and they're showing clips they think are stupid from Fox News. Fox News is showing clips they think are stupid from CNN, or tweets that somebody made, and who's outraged by that tweet. And so you spend 30 minutes talking about some tweet that somebody made and the outrage about it, and maybe you even have someone you're interviewing who tweeted that tweet and how they're outraged, why they're outraged. I mean, it's just, okay, it's enough. It really is. So I do find myself going to fiction more often, and I hate that because I keep up with what's going on and get a lot of different opinions on things. And it makes me want to have a beer. Root beer. But I tell you, I have really have, after all these years, I have gotten to the point now where I look for a good Western or something, when I'm working, and get away from it so much. I don't know if you're that way or not, but I think a lot of people are. It's the same old deal. You've got that time to fill, and you've got to get the viewers. You've got to get the attention. John and I should take a tip from that. We should be trying to do more clickbaiting and get more people in here to watch us. I need Hooters girls out here picking up the brass or something. What's wrong with us? Some crazy title on everything. Sorry, ladies, I didn't mean to offend you, the Hooters girls. But I'm a guy. Even if I am crazy, I'm still a guy. So anyway, that's just the way it is, and I guess while I'm on that topic, the social media tip of the day, or warning, warning. I almost feel obligated since we have a pretty good sized audience. Maybe it's the old teacher in me or something, although I never really, I don't consider myself a teacher. I just taught, but I did spend time sometimes in class because it was, language arts, English and so forth. Commercials and media and everything has always been of interest to me in the sense of the language that's used and how they say things. It's like same old deal, like 7 out of 9 dentists recommend that this might help or whatever, and kind of take apart that line, okay, 7 out of 10, which 7? It's the 7 out of 10 they picked out, or recommend. What do you mean by recommend? Where'd they recommend it? They recommend that this might help prevent cavities or something. Okay, it might help prevent, just the words there. So they're really saying nothing, are they? They're not lying, they're just not really saying anything. And so it's always been of interest to me, and I've used that to some extent, in classes with young people. And we have a lot of young people that watch. And that's just one of the things that I'm reminded of. As I absorb media, because I do, I watch some of the sports shows, I listen to some sports talk occasionally. I confess to liking Colin Cowherd. I follow him. I've caught him on the radio over the years, and we went to Fox. I found that on TV, and I think even on my XM radio, and I catch him sometimes. I don't agree with him on everything, but he's a very thoughtful, he's a thinking person, and I'm impressed with him on a lot of levels, even if I wouldn't agree with him on everything. But anyway, I absorb a lot of media. And because I listen to some sports talk shows, so I'll preach a little bit more. This week I was thinking, you know what? They were talking about, I was watching, I think it was on Fox, Fox Sports 1 or whatever it is, wherever Colin Cowherd is and all the shows. But I go back and forth between ESPN. If there's something going on in sports, I want to hear what they're saying about it, or ball game. And so ESPN or Fox Sports 1. And there were 3 or 4 people sitting around a table having a discussion, and they literally used terms like they were congratulating a caller or somebody because he had a fresh take on something, and then they discussed it, and someone else had a hot take. I think their show, hot take, you got a hot take, call us, that kind of thing. And what they mean by that, and I've talked about this before, they mean a kind of a unique perspective on something, maybe some basketball player, or some football player, some event. What's your take on it? Call in and tell us what you think, and so they value a fresh perspective on something, a different angle, they call it, a hot take, a different take on something. That's what they're looking for. because they sit around and discuss it all day long, so they want to hear different takes, and some analyst that has a different take on it, or a hot take on it, as they call it. Why? Well, they got to get viewers, right? They've got a show, they got advertisers, so they want to keep it really interesting. Unlike me, they want to keep it really interesting, and and they just admit that, hot takes, and then they just praise people for having a hot take, and really, you think about it, that's kind of the way the regular news is too, or regular TV, or the internet, or YouTube, or social media, or whatever it is. That anywhere anybody is trying to get viewers, attention, clicks, right? They're looking for something really different, unique, maybe crazy, to get attention. And how do you do that? You get a different perspective on things. You get as many people as you can, and maybe sometimes it's crazy perspective. It's a unique perspective. It's a totally different outlook on something. Nothing wrong with that, except that it occurs to me that maybe it's kind of where the hipster movement came from, whether that's mythical or not, where people reject the standard thinking or conformity, or just the conventional way of thinking about something, just because it is conventional or accepted. And it's a whole lot more interesting to have a different take on something, isn't it? A lot more interesting to be a little crazy or bizarre about something. Plus you'll get attention that way, right? You'll get attention. We all want attention, right? So I don't know. I think that the regular news is kind of the same thing. You got to have a different take. You got to have something crazy to think about, a different way to think about it, different way to look at it, something to get more viewers, and the average person who's not very sophisticated yet, who is 15 years old or 12 years old or 20 years old or whatever, they're popping on the news or the sports shows, whatever it is. How does that affect them? Or social media, they're watching videos, or they're on their Facebook, or they're on YouTube, or they're anywhere they are. Everything coming at them is extreme. It's an extreme take on stuff, on everything, and kind of their selection of choices and what they think about things is coming from this hot take cupboard. All the shelves, in that cupboard, they're choosing for their menu, for the analogy, it's all this wild stuff and hot take stuff that's mainly designed to get attention, and because it's different, it's great, it's high quality. Why? Because it's unique, it's different. I don't know. Does that make any sense? So I don't know. I just wonder how it affects people who don't kind of see through it or don't think about it very much. And obviously, I overthink it, don't I? But I've always been a little analytical about media and the psychology of the media and how they throw things at us. Because it's not an evil thing. That's just marketing. It's just what they do. There are people right now sitting around a conference table. Probably looks just like this one. You think? Like somebody hammered it together with nails, like I did. Has guns like. I doubt it. It's probably polished, and it's walnut, and it's really nice. And they've got their coffee. And they're having a marketing meeting this morning. I used to be in business, different businesses, so about 9 o'clock in the morning you might have a marketing meeting or something, and there's 4 or 5 people sitting around. The director of marketing's over there, and so they're right now trying to decide how they can sell this soap powder, or this dishwashing detergent, or this handgun grip, or that camera I'm looking at. What's the best way to market this thing? What will get people's attention? What can we say about it? We're going to put together a commercial. There you go. Go to the advertising company. They're having a meeting. They're going to put together a commercial. So they're trying to decide how to sell this camera or this soft drink or whatever it might be, this bullet. And a phone. Where's my phone? Yeah. They're trying to decide how to sell this phone. Okay. So, let's see. This phone is kind of like all the other phones. So what do we say about it other than it's got a pretty good battery? I know what we could say. Let's not say much about it other than let's just put it in the hands of some pretty people. And if we can make them look cool enough while they're using this phone, we'll sell it to people. So that's just marketing. It's just marketing. So I don't know if any of that made any sense, but I I don't care, is what it comes down to. I'm weird. I'm not necessarily an old fuddy-duddy, but when I'm listening to even sports talk, you don't have to have 12 hot takes for me. You analysts are pretty smart. You know, have 2 or 3 of you guys talking about, or gals talking about the game yesterday. Just tell what you think. I don't care that Harry from Kansas calls in and he's got some crazy hot take, and you're going to use that for the next 20 minutes, and other people, you know, because it's unique, and it's really unique. Yeah, it's unique because nobody else thinks it. You know, there's a reason no one else thinks that way. You know, but you're trying to get views out of it, and you're trying to keep the show crazy and hot, and I don't know. I think the bottom line is, and you already know, don't you? I'm just too old. Well, I don't think that's it. I think too much, you know, because I've never been really, believe it or not, I don't know, like an old fuddy-duddy much. Probably on some things I have, but as I've kind of told you guys, I was the first kid on the block to have a computer, so to speak. I went and bought an Apple II, like an 81. 81. I didn't know anybody, you know, had an Apple computer. No one hardly even had a microcomputer at the house. I mean, almost nobody. Percentages, other than a Radio Shack, Trash 80 or something, you know. The real nerds are into it and playing games on it and stuff. I bought an Apple 10 years before most people had them, okay? You know, I saw it as a way to type and to edit my writing. Really cool, you know, and then manage a territory. I was in sales for part of the time, and I was tracking a territory and stuff, so I learned how to use a spreadsheet. When most people didn't know what, if you said spreadsheet, that was like, what? What's that? What planet are you from? You know? So I've never been resistant to change. Glocks, believe it or not, it's ironic, but now, you know, people will call you kind of an old fuddy-duddy if you're still carrying Glocks and you still like Glocks. It's really humorous, because back in the late 80s, mid-80s, late 80s, you were like, wow, what is that space age thing? Give me my 1911 or my steel revolver, you know? And here I was buying those things and using them in competition. You know, I think I was the first one to shoot a 40 cal. I wasn't afraid to go to 40 in whatever that was, 90, I guess, and was either the first or one of the, I think, 2 first people in this state to shoot a 40 in a state, or in a IPSC match, you know, a Glock, and that kind of thing. I mean, I've never been afraid of trying something new. So I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. I'm just kind of letting you know a little bit about me. You know, I'm not afraid of new things, but I do overthink, as you can tell, right? And overanalyze things sometimes. And I like to have that shield against media kind of in my brain, and I'm afraid a lot of people don't have that protective shield, or maybe a filter is a better analogy, that when you do have the news on, or you have talk radio, or you have anything, you need to have a filter that, and you know, there in your brain, programmed, you know, and of course we all have that. It's just that I just am concerned about young people, you know, or people that are not very sophisticated, that they're soaking all that stuff up and they're not seeing the motivation, the agenda, you know, there. Because most people have an agenda, including John and me. We want you to watch. We just don't get crazy to make you watch. Excuse me, we try to provide some, you know, information and a little entertainment, but mostly some information. That's how we try to get you to watch what we do, okay? So everybody has an agenda, and it's not an evil thing, you know? There's nothing necessarily evil about the news or anybody I'm talking about wanting you to watch what they're doing. But just be aware of that agenda and what they're doing to get you to tune in and to stay tuned in, I guess is my point. So kind of preaching to the younger folks out there, maybe, to just some things to think about, you know. Maybe one of the best answers is click off all the media, you know, about 99% of the day, and then just live a real life, you know. Go out in the woods like me and talk to a camera. All right, enough on that. I got on my soapbox. It is one of my soapboxes, and I do bring that up occasionally because I think because, like you, I absorb a lot of media, and so I think about that as I'm driving my car and, you know, watching the news or whatever, and I think about things people say and how they're trying to convince me of something or to sell me something. So it is always on my brain. It has to be. And I'm thinking about, wow, I didn't fall for that. You know, that's pretty obvious what they're doing there, why they're saying that, or the word they chose and all that. And it occurs to me quite often, I hope other people see that, you know. So I hope other people are as brilliant as I am. That's really what I'm implying, aren't I? Sorry about that. So anyway, what else can I tell you anything useful about what we're doing? Well, we're happy to be over here and have this range. Like I said, it's cool. I've been in the shade all day. I could not have done this today over on the other range. And it's nice to have the table here. And you can't see everything, I know, because you're way back there. You're kind of standoffish right where you are. But there's some cool targets there just over the hill and then across the hill. And I got it about where we want it, I think, now. So we'll come up here and do a video occasionally. And like we said, this is all compliments of the Golf Club members over on the Patreon account. We wanted to, put those dollars, into the project, and we appreciate, y'all supporting it. Nothing you have to do, of course, but the folks that have done that, we wanted to put it to good use. And it's really going to, and we're going to rotate the targets, and we're going to continue doing things, with targets over here. Not going to change that every week, but we're not going to be afraid if I see a target that I think is cool. You can't, maybe you've seen it, I think, in the new range video, the hog hanging down there, something like that that's cool. I like it. I'll just buy it. That was about $300. I'll just buy it, not worry about it, and then change it out. Just depending on what we want to do. So it's pretty cool. We're not going to do a lot of videos here, but occasionally we surely will. It looks like it's going to be a good place to do things like this. John will probably do some videos here on the Hickok 45 and Son channel, and on the main channel. Just depending. I'm trying to get him to do at least a couple of videos a month, and he's getting a lot better at it, if you have not noticed. Okay, he's amazing. This is not an easy thing for a lot of people to do. Not here I go patting myself on the back again, but the way we do things is a little different, isn't it? And when you don't have an edit point, even every 10 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever, it makes it a totally different project. Go turn the camera on and do a video. Go to the range and do one, and just turn the camera on and let it go 20 or 30 minutes. All right, and you'll see what I mean, because there's no backing up, there's no rewinding. Did I say something stupid? Okay, it's out there. Even though it's not live, you don't want to have to redo a video if you talk for 10 minutes or you've done something for 12 minutes or 30 or 10, 20, And it's not as easy as it might look. I have the advantage of having taught for a long time, and walk into a classroom and close the door and bang, for 50 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever we're doing it. I couldn't rewind, whatever I was doing. If I said something stupid or whatever, it's out there. So I sort of had training for that, whereas John didn't. So I'm very impressed with how well he can do that. There's not many people do it this way at all, because it really is. It was hard. It's harder than it looks. It's not hard for me because I don't know. I don't really care if I'm stupid occasionally. I've been stupid occasionally my whole life. I was telling John the other day, it's just the teaching was good prep for me. One day, I don't think I've told you all this. It was just before first period, and I was teaching 7th grade. So I'd gone down the hall. It was literally a couple of minutes before class was starting, and I was going to get a cup of coffee. And back then, I drank coffee or more coffee, and I don't know, I had it on the table, I was messing around there, and I always wore khakis and a blue kind of Oxford shirt, my uniform for teaching, a tie, and nice khakis, and I knocked it off, getting a book or something. I knocked the coffee off right in my crotch, okay, coffee, almost the whole cup, okay. And so how would you like to be in that position? You've just spilled coffee. There's no, your kids are down there waiting. They're about to get seated. I should have been down there already, And so I have no choice but to hustle down the hall and get ready, first period. Okay, guys, morning, And it looks exactly like I peed my pants, seriously. So I don't have another pair of pants. I don't have anything. I don't have a sweater. What are you doing with a sweater around your waist? so and so. Well, what do you do? You know, so I've just been through a lot of situations where I've got to figure out things, you know, to do, and somehow I stumble through it. And of course, I figured at that point, well, there's nothing I can do. I can't hide it. These kids are way too smart for me, and smarter than I am. So what am I going to do? So I just walked in the room. First thing I said was, look, first person that laughs at me for peeing my pants is going to fail this semester. You know, and I just said something like that, you know, and then and they were like, what you did? Yeah, you obviously did. I said, no, a little coffee accident went on. And they knew I was telling the truth. But yeah, what do you do? So anyway, there I go rambling again. But that was kind of funny, and I'll live through it. And most people don't have any experience like in a classroom, and so I think it just helps, you know, have been through that rumble, that rough and tumble, you know, the weird things that occur, you know, when you've got a group of 20 people, or 18 or 15 or 22, and all sorts of questions coming at you, and you know, whatever else might be going on. Or some of them rather be somewhere else and having to deal with that, you know. Just like some of you, you're falling asleep, and I'm not sure how to keep you awake. I know how I could do it. I could fire one of these guns. Okay, I'm going to shut up. I guess I need to do these more often so I don't ramble as long and get off on so many wild tangents. So I'll sum it up by thanking you again for watching. And again, these are meant for, boy, I do need to qualify this, don't I? Disclaimer. These are for, well, sick people, you know, our most loyal viewers, all right? So if you stumbled in on this and wonder what in the world is wrong with that guy, well, the same stuff that's wrong with me and the other videos. It's just that I'm shooting more, and you don't get a chance to know how crazy, you know, and brainless I am, maybe. So anyway, we appreciate you all watching. And if you have gotten to this point in this video, you know, it doesn't matter how stupid I got or how many soapboxes I got on. You expected it, right? So you deserve what you got. You deserved it, you know, so don't complain. Please don't complain. Now, we appreciate y'all, you know, again, more than you know. We get to do this for a living because of you all, and that says it all. You know, we get to do this for a living. You know, get to shoot for a living and mess with these firearms for a living. And that doesn't happen much under the sun. You know, what has happened here is kind of a phenomenon. We didn't plan it, didn't even know, you know, that there was a possibility of any of this, you know, when we just thought we'd stick a couple of videos up, because that was 10 years ago, you know. And so, you know, we appreciate it. We definitely appreciate it because, you know, it's in a way it is kind of a dream come true. I was able to make my hobby, I won't say into a career, what you'd call it, but an endeavor that I get to do whatever I want to almost with firearms, and really don't have to pay for much of it, you know. So yeah, as I've said before, you should be envious of me, you know. And not because I'm beautiful, but because I get to do that. So anytime we seem unappreciative, you let us know, because we definitely are, you know, every single day. You know, it's just a strange phenomenon that this has happened, and so many of you come and watch, and we're able to do what we do. So whether it ends tomorrow, I'll still be doing the same thing, just like I was before we started, you know, pulling a camera out here. I'll still be over here shooting, you know, same targets. If YouTube dies, or all gun videos are banned from the world, or whatever it is, my life won't change a great deal, other than I just won't have a camera out here. So I guess y'all have to come in person, right? So I'm gonna let you go, because if I don't, I will continue rambling. Now watch this. Don't pretend you don't know I've got a remote over here. This way I don't have to edit, because I do these myself. I render them, and see, I've got a remote hidden over here, and so if I sneak it around and like you don't see it, I can just kind of sign off, and you'll never know that I didn't even have to cut the video. I just stopped talking, and I just casually punch this little start-stop button to make you all go away. Life is good.